If you get stuck with this rhythm in your music, you are not alone. This pattern has confused so many people, and in just a few minutes, I'm going to explain this rhythm pattern perfectly. And at the end of this course, you will never struggle with this rhythm, and you'll be able to recognize it and play any shape music with this rhythm. So sit back and watch this. The semiquaver and dotted quiver notes is a rhythm pattern made up of one semiquaver and one dotted quiver joined together at their flags. It is a rhythmic grouping where a short note, which is a semiquaver, is quarter beat, and is usually followed by a dotted quiver note, which is 3/4 beats. This is how the semiquaver and dotted quiver note looks like. It is written as a semiquaver with two beams or flags, right? Followed immediately by a dotted quiver note. Now, the reason why the lower flag is not joined to the dotted quiver note is because once a semiquaver stands alone with another semiquaver is usually joined together, the two flags are joined together. But because the dotted quiver note is not a semiquaver, the second flag cannot be joined to it. It's very simple. Now, here is how the semiquaver and dotted quiver note sounds like. I'm going to be using fruit to explain this perfectly so you understand. And the fruit I'm going to be using is orange. So this is how it sounds like. Orange, 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 orange. Very simple. Now, as mentioned earlier, the semiquaver note is quarter beats, while the dotted quiver note is 3/4 beats. And when you add everything together to give you 1 beat. So imagine a crochet is a circle. So this particular pattern is going to be the first quarter of the circle will be for the semiquaver, while the 3/4 will be for the dotted quiver notes, and everything will sum up to 1 beat. Very simple. The UK or British name is called Semiquaver Dotted Quaver, while the US or American name is 16th notes, dotted 8th notes. In Baroque and classical music, this rhythm was very common in dances, minuets, and ornamented passages. It gave melodies a sense of forward motion. Later in romantic and modern music, composers used it for expressiveness and syncopation. At 16 beats per minute, 1 crochet note is 1 second. So that means that the semiquaver note is going to be 0.25, while the 3/4 note, which represents the dotted quiver note, is going to be 0.75. And everything must add up to 1 second. And this is how it's going to be tapped. At 120 beats per minute, 1 crochet beat is 0.5 seconds. That means that the semiquaver is going to be 0.125, while the dotted quiver note, which is a 3/4 beat, is going to be 0.375. And everything must sum up to 0.5 seconds, which is a crochet beat, and which is the main beat of a simple time signature. And this is how it's going to sound like. This rhythm creates a kind of short, long rhythmic effect, often used to add syncopation, tension, or a dance-like swing. It also keeps the beat steady while giving the melody a skip-like feel. You must understand that this particular pattern comes from the family of the Four Semiquavers pattern. I remember we used watermelon for this pattern. Watermelon, 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 watermelon. Now understand that the first semiquaver in this pattern has taken one semiquaver in the four semiquaver pattern, right? And the dotted quiver notes has taken the remaining three. So if I'm going to clap this in watermelon pattern, it's going to be something like this. Watermelon, 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 watermelon. Very simple. Orange, 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 orange. Very simple. So if you understand the family where each rhythm comes from, it will be so easy to clap it and understand how it sounds like. This pattern is commonly found in the symbol time signature like 4/4, 3/4, or 2/4, and it fits neatly into one beat of a crochet length. But in compound time signature, it can be found, but it shifts the feel of the rhythm and creates a syncopation. The semiquaver and dotted quiver pattern can appear with a rest in your sheet music. This should not confuse you. You should note that one part of the pattern is actually quiet. Now looking at this picture, you can see that the first semiquaver rest is going to be quiet, right? One dotted quiver note is going to sound. So the or is going to be quiet while the range is going to be tapped. And this is how it's going to sound like. Now let's compare two patterns from different families. This pattern here comes from the Four Semiquavers family, while this pattern comes from the Orange family. In this pattern, we understand that the semiquaver rest is quiet, right? While the tamelon has been dominated by a dotted quiver note. In this pattern, the or is quiet, while the range has been dominated by a dotted quiver note. They are both the same thing, but from different family. And they're kind of connected. Everything is just, one thing about rhythm in music is that they are all connected. Once you understand a particular pattern, it's going to give you an insight to other patterns. So this is actually the same thing, right? So this is going to sound tamelon, 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 range, 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 range. Very simple. Another way a semiquaver and a dotted quiver note can appear with a rest in your sheet music is something like this. In this picture, we have one semiquaver note and a dotted quiver rest. It is still from this pattern. Now, this is how it's going to sound like. You must also note that this pattern is also from the Four Semiquavers pattern. The first semiquaver here has taken the first semiquaver of the Four Semiquaver pattern, right? I remember we used watermelon for this fruit as mentioned earlier, right? So here it's going to be like war, right? Just the first war, then the others will be tamelon. But unfortunately, the dotted quiver rest has taken the tamelon. So it's going to sound like this: war, 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 war. It's still the same thing as or, because the or is going to be tapped while the range is quiet. Now we're going to move to an exercise where all these patterns can be found. Ensure you tap with me and pay attention. Let's go ahead. talked about all the patterns that fall under the crochet notes, we're going to go ahead to tap everything one after the other. We're also going to tap all the patterns that fall under the 4 semiquavers, which also fall under the crochet notes. Sit back and tap with me. We finally come to the end of this series. So if you have any question whatsoever, please drop it in the comment section and I'll be there to answer all your questions. So try to clap all the exercise on your own, and trust me, after all this exercise, you'll be able to pick up any sheet music and play it effortlessly. And don't forget that we also have PDF files for all the exercise in practice. Have a wonderful time, and don't forget to like, to share, and most importantly, subscribe to this wonderful channel. Bye for now.